Hey there, welcome. We are so excited that you're here. My guess is, if you're anything like we are, that you may be feeling nervous, wondering, am I going to fit in? Are they going to get me? Is this going to be a safe place? I know it's for HSPs, but I'm not so sure. So I can't give you any promises, but what I can tell you is our goal is to create a really safe, nurturing space for you. We want this to be a place where you feel seen, heard, valued. You get to choose how much you want to share. You get to choose how vulnerable you want to be. If you're more quiet, you're an introvert, you choose to observe, and that's what works for you. We don't have any expectations about how you're going to show up in the group. This is your HSP course, and you get to decide what works for you. And we want it to be a really safe place for you. And if anything comes up that you feel uncomfortable about, you can either bring it up in group or you're more than welcome to reach out to either one of us, because our overreaching goal is we want this to be a safe haven for everybody. And if there's anything that we can do to make you feel comfortable or something that we're saying or doing, it's very likely that we may miss a tune, we may miss something, we may be trying to manage time or the group. And for me, I know I get my taskmaster hat on and I'm not always as sensitive and responsive because I feel like I got to manage time and people. I know that happens. So this is a personal invitation to let me know if you don't feel seen and heard, because that's what I want to do. I'm human and I screw up. What do you want to say, Jen?
Absolutely. Thank you. So I just want to ditto everything that you just said. I want to, Scout's honor here on upholding this, everything that you just expressed, right? That desire for everyone to have a safe space, be allowed to participate to whatever degree they're comfortable with, that really is okay. And to be that I am approachable, right? That absolutely you can email me offside and let me know what your particular needs are in this group. And I also want to add that this isn't just, welcome message, talk about the group, that this is tied intimately to one of the major skills that we hope to support and build into your experience here to be able to serve you outside in your life, of really going in, what do I need? And being able to assert it, ask for it, widely. So this is something we would call it generalizing. It's something that we want to be able to grow in all of us, and generalize that we assert our needs. I would add only, in my languaging a little bit, is that whenever someone's with me, self-care rules the day. I think often we get ourselves into some social scripts and it's like, oh, I have to do what everybody else is doing. I mean, I think this comes from childhood, K to 12, kind of, get hands on desks and, do what's expected. And I want to actually flip that if, you're ever in group and you need to show up, and, even something as simple as have your lunch with you, or, stop us to get a glass of water, to take care of yourself. And that we're here to completely support that and support and grow that. How's that, right? We want to fertilize that. So we need to exercise that as a muscle, right? That you're going to take out into the world with you. So this is, in many ways, this is one thing. There's going to be a few others that we're going to practice together. So it is integral to the course and to what we are doing together.
Yeah, I love that. And I think especially as highly sensitive people, we are so good at looking around and figuring out what the rules and the norms are and figuring out how to meet those. And it's often at the expense of, the cherished little tender person that's inside of us. And so this really is an opportunity to practice. What is it that you need as an individual? And that to know that Jen and I don't have expectations about what the rules are. So this is really about honoring your needs and figuring out how you can show up in the best way for you and how we can support you in that. I know this is a total paradigm shift because this is not how the outside world works, but we really have worked hard to create an environment and a space where the focus is on you and your needs. And even if that looks different than everybody else, or it means taking more time or stepping away or whatever, that we have room for you to be you, and we want to honor that precious spirit that's inside of you and let go of what the rules and the expectations and the norms are.
Yes. Yes. I think one thing I would add for this as our welcome message, that there are, wherever you are in relationship to this knowledge, right? This information, this trait of high sensitivity, whether it's, you only heard about it a month ago or it's something that you're well read about. I do want to float out there that, the intention here is to listen to everybody deeply, and that there are a lot of idiosyncratic, right? Idiosyncrasies in being, I think I'm saying that right, in being an HSP. So, we're going to speak for ourselves in our own experience and to the degree that we're comfortable sharing that. And just to know that it's going to look different for everybody, right? It's a very individual journey with a lot of common areas. And, as part as the group leaders, there is no perfect way to show up as an HSP. HSPs are as different as there are people. So we're not going to put that on each other, or even though there's such great research that's come out and there's now a body of work that's, I think, about 30 years old, right? And expanding all the time, that we ask more questions, right? That we be more, that commitment to kindness and curiosity, because there's also a lot emerging about it, including your own wisdom of what you have to share in your experience and your position in life and everything about what it's like to be an HSP where you're at. So we're going to be really careful not to impose where we're at other people, onto others. I'm certainly, as an HSP, much different. I'm 46 years old at the time of this recording than I was, say, at 26 years old. Then I expect that I'll be at 66 years old. So, it is a developmental thing. I think sometimes it overlays with where we are in our life and our life experiences. So, kind of dovetails with, freedom to show up as you are in any time we're together, and extending that freedom and kindness and curiosity to others, other members of the group.
Yeah. So you may be curious what's going to happen in this first group. So I want to give you a little bit of information because most HSPs, I'm definitely one of them. I kind of want to know what's coming up and what is it going to be like. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the first meeting, and then Jen and I will talk about what the general structure of the group is. This may change over time, so just know that this is general so that you have a little bit of an idea of what to expect, but it's a living, breathing, moving part. So what we're going to do is we're going to do introductions, and we're going to ask what everybody's goals are in the group. We're going to get to know each other a little bit about, I'm really stumbling over my words. We're going to get to know each other a little bit, and we're going to talk a little bit about how did you find out you were an HSP. So questions and discussion, building pride in being a highly sensitive person and applying that pride. Jen, do you want to talk a little bit about the structure, the overall structure of the group, or was there something else that I left out that you want to share about?
No, I think that's great. I think you really touched on everything. Thank you. Overall structure of the group is we're going to start out. Well, you'll have these videos, right? So again, there's no. It's up to you to watch them or not, and I encourage you to be really honest, right? I mean, we all have busy lives. We're all doing the best that we can. What's meant in these videos is to have like the didactic piece, right? We were finding as we developed the group that filling a lot of the precious time that we have together with a lot of didactic didn't feel like we were giving enough discussion, enough open space, right? So the structure of the group is really going to start with these videos, actually. This is going to be the discussion piece, some prompts in the email hopefully at some point it won't be an email, it'll be a log on, right? There will be at somewhere this video and some prompting questions to get you thinking newly about yourself in relationship to this trait, right? And then when we open up group, we're going to open up with a check-in. I like to call it the how the hell are you check-in. And it's really about creating a mindful space for us to be kind and curious how we are in the moment, because that changes from day to day. So our needs change from day to day, and you have to seek your truth in order to speak your truth. And this is a very important way that the course was designed to encourage you to do that a lot. So we're going to start off each meeting, little check-in. It'll be a led, like a guided meditation, and then a brief go around about what you found in that moment, right? In that moment of that checking in, being able to say how you are in this moment, maybe what your needs are, assert that need to the group. Again, practicing this is something we want to build broadly. And then we will open up the group to discussion, to sharing. It's really a very wide open space, meant to be related to the module that we're on, but you'll find that all the modules really do kind of move together. So we're not harsh about sticking to just speaking about the module, but opening it up, because they are all really interrelated. And we've tried to time them so that they nest inside of each other somewhat, but to the best that we can.
Right. And just to give you a little bit more information about the check-in, I think it's so easy for many of us to go around and, we conform to the rules and we don't know how to stop and check in. What's going on inside my body? Who's showing up today? Am I feeling anxious? Am I excited? Am I nervous? Am I thinking about another task? So it's just an opportunity to identify what's going on. You don't have to participate if you don't want to. Everything in this course is totally optional. Excuse me, I have to cough. So, and then like Jen said, we do a very brief check-in, just a few words about what came up for you, and then it's open. And the first group will be a little bit more structured. We want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to introduce themselves, talk about what their goals are and how they found out they were an HSP. But after that, it's pretty open, because we really want this to be a place for everybody to show up and to just experience whatever it is that they need.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I don't have anything else. Do you, Jen?
No, welcome. I look
Yeah.
forward to meeting everybody, and really taking hopefully a deep dive in a meaningful way to.
And what I would encourage you is, I was just working with someone recently who talked about confusing anxiety for excitement, that often we get so over aroused and overstimulated that we get kind of amped up and we don't know what it is. And so I would invite you to be really curious that if you're having anticipation about the course, is this anxiety? Is it fear? Is it excitement? Is it a combination of them? I know for me that oftentimes before I see a new practitioner, whether it's a dentist or a doctor, I go through this thing of like, are they going to see me? Am I going to be validated, or am I going to have to, armor up because they're not going to see me? So again, it's just an opportunity to use curiosity to see, what are you anticipating? And it's not uncommon for us to have a lot of fearful and negative anticipation. There's nothing wrong with it. We welcome that. And this is part of how we grow, is to know, like, I just came back from a conference. I didn't want to go. I honestly thought about, like, I'll just eat the plane fare, the hotel. I didn't want to go to this conference. And I know myself well enough to know, like, okay, honey, just pack up and go. I had an amazing time, and I showed up in a way that really surprised me. It's an ongoing process. So if you are having doubts or fears, or should I be doing this, it's just normal.
Yeah, I also want to share and be transparent that very often at the very beginning, I have all of that. I call it arousal. I call it, activation. It's energy. And sure, I can slap the label on it that it's anxiety, and sometimes it is, but it's not always, right? Like, it can just be, wow, and I get very excited and activated before I meet a client for the first time. And it's novelty, right? It's also new. And that really, like, sparks up all of our, like, HSP, right? Like, things that we're going to attend to, all of that we're taking in broadly. So I'm probably, I confess up to this, feeling just as activated, nervous, whatever you want to call it, as you are right now, in anticipation of the group starting.
Yeah, absolutely. So welcome. We are so glad you're here. We can't wait to meet each and every one of you. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Anything else, Jen?
No, it's all for now.
All right. We'll see you pretty soon then.
Bye.